This episode of Power Women of the Trades is also brought to you by Forrest Perry of Forrest Perry Digital Marketing. Want to generate more leads for your service business? Trust his team to deliver quality new customer leads and protect your brand online. Check out perrymarketing.com today.
Hello everyone. We want to give a quick shout out to our amazing partner, Rilla, the game changer in the home service industry. Rilla's virtual ride-along software means no more physical ride-alongs. With Rilla, you can coach your team virtually 100 times faster and boost your close sale rates like never before. Don't miss out. Join the movement today and watch your sales soar. Visit rilla.com/PWT to learn more.
Most businesses' online presence is boring. And by being boring, they're losing out on potential sales and customers. Being interesting and exciting is what draws customers in and gets them to buy from you. But it's hard to be interesting online when you're focused on running your business and taking care of your customers. It doesn't have to be this way. We have the key to unlocking the solution to your problem. Key Heart Marketing can help take your business from boring to brilliant on social media. We can vouch for them. They run our podcast socials. If you want to have a strong social media presence that allows customers to know, like, and trust you, connect with Key Heart Marketing at keyheartmarketing.com. Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
Hey guys, just recorded a dope podcast with women of the trades on it. Talked about Nuve, talked about marketing, talked about some of these fake ass gurus online. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be dropping soon. Make sure you click on the link below to download that podcast that we just shot. It's one of the dopest ones I've done. We talked about Nuve and all the features of the software, the thermostat. CP was in there talking a true testimonial on how she's almost installed 100 thermostats in the first 30 to 60 days that she's been on our Nuve Networks program. She's already installed close to 100 of these thermostats. She gave a really, really good testimonial on why you should be joining. Make sure you download that podcast and listen to it all.
I think that, first of all, off the record, on the record, it's going to stay on the record. You take any ADHD medicine?
Oh. 2 cups of coffee, and what else? And then just my pre-workout when I go work out. But that's it.
Listen, I have to take some ADHD medicine, but if not, you and I would be like swirling out right now. Okay, but let's switch over to Nuve. So you sold to Wrench Group, and then you sailed in the sunset because that's what everyone's like. I'm going to sell, and then what? I'm like, yeah, then what? Because like I'm 40 years old. If that's not on our radar of selling, like we have a totally different path and plan, but like I can't imagine what the hell I would have done. So you sold, you took a little sabbatical, maybe you bought some cars, spent some money, whatever, right? And then you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do?
Dude, I could not stay still for like more than 3 seconds. I can't be at home because those girls drive me nuts. I could spend about 2 hours with them, maybe 3 hours with them before they start fighting and crying, and I can't take it. So I'll be with them. I'll take them to school. I take them to dance. I do all the dad things, but I gotta keep my mind busy, or else I'll start doing some stupid dumb things. So I started a new event. At first it was a project that me and Tom Howard started at. And we prototyped literally from the circuit boards to the casings to the screen to everything that we've done 3 years ago. It took us about 3 years to actually go from prototype to actual product. We launched it about September, October of last year. At first, we were giving these thermostats away. We're like, please try them out. I promise you're going to love them. They had glitches at the beginning, obviously, like any new product. We had a couple of warranty issues that we had to overcome. And fast forward 10, 11 months later, we got a little bit over 600 contractors that were ordering them by the pallets. I think we've been sold out for the last 3 months. We could barely keep enough inventory so we can supply our current base. And I know new dealers that are coming in are still waiting on some of the thermostats to get out there. So yeah, it's a fun project, man. I never thought I was going to be launching the thermostat, but I'm glad I did.
So I can tell you when the thermostat first came out, and I through the years have, tried to jump on all the new gimmicks, right? And at first I thought, is Nuve a gimmick, right? And so what is it? What does Ishmael know about building a thermostat, right? Like, I know you know how to work it, you ran a business, but what do you know? And so I sat back and watched, and I saw the people that were using it. I'd reach out, I'd get feedback. And the truth is that you had some hiccups in the beginning, right? Because it was brand new and you've owned that. And then Ishmael, one thing about Ishmael, he's going to be persistent. So he was always following up in my inbox. And I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. We had the box because, like you said, he had given some for free. He had sent us a box and it had really just sat there. We hadn't done much with it. And finally I said, someone install that damn thermostat. He's driving me nuts. And they did. And it looked good. And so I said, here's the deal, because everyone's had all of those, as contractors and service technicians, we've all had those times where we have installed another brand of thermostat. I'm not going to name any other brands, and the warranty's crap. And I said, Ish, I ain't getting into some warranty crap of a shitty thermostat that you can buy at Lowe's, the one I'm talking about. And he's like, Cassie, I promise you're not going to have this. And I'm like, okay. So we started talking about it. I said, okay, well then if we're doing it, here's something you have to know about Cassie. Heather knows this and Ish now knows this, is if we make a decision to do something, boom, it's done. Okay. So I said, if we're doing it, it's summer, how fast can you get my app ready? And he's like, oh, I'll hustle. And they got our app going. And anyways, he sent me a message the other day and he was like, yo, y'all are killing it with these thermostats. I said, are you just feeding me some shit or are you just trying to get me to buy more? And he was like, no, for real. So I went back in our system and was like, hey, how many have we sold? We've actually sold way more than I anticipated. But one thing I can tell you, we've only been in 45 days or so, 60 days or so, and we haven't had any recalls on those damn thermostats. So I have to tell you that, Ish. Like, I will tell you, and maybe we'll make sure they clip it and tell the world that part of that is, because that was what I was worried about, is when you have a recall, if they started telling me it's and we named ours Cozy. Yep. And so our thermostat's Cozy. And I'm like, if you start telling me these Cozy thermostats are our recall problem, we'll rip every damn one of them out. And he's like, you ain't going to have the problem. You're not going to. And so far, Heather can attest to that. Like, Heather's in our operations at quality and sees that our recalls are not because of any thermostat.
No, they're not. And I think that's a big risk that you take. And, with research and rolling out a new product right at the beginning of summer, because that's when we make the money. So the fact that there haven't been any recalls on them is fantastic.
Yeah. So, and that, like I said, our team expects nothing less from me to do some crazy shit at the beginning of summer. But so we did, and it's been great. Our customers love it. At first, we had a couple of feedbacks. One of the things was, is a kind of a thicker, I don't want to say clunky, it's a thicker thermostat, but there's another version coming out.
Yep, V2 on rolling them out of Pantheon. It's going to be a super sleek, modern design that it took me almost a year to design it. I've been working on the bezel. I've been working on the screen. I've been working on everything. It's thinner. It's more sleek. It's like a floating thermostat coming off the wall with our illuminating LED on the back. So you guys are going to love it. I'm going to roll it out at Pantheon. I'm going to take a bunch of thermostats there so you guys can see it. But yeah, dude, thank you, Casey, for bringing that up and saying, hey, I did have a couple of hiccups at the beginning. Our backboard wasn't amped right. And, I've never launched a thermostat company. I've never, done this before. So I had to go through the turbulences. But ever since I stopped, I slowed down the operation. I started shipping everything to Anaheim. We power them up. We test them before we ship them to the contractor. Our warranty went to literally almost nothing. So I'm glad it's helping you guys out. And thank you for believing in the product. Because honestly, like, if it wasn't good because of people like yourself, helping me out, I promise you I would still be giving thermostats away a year later. So I appreciate that.
Well, okay. First of all, I would like to reserve. We can't go to Pantheon because it's the week of my daughter's birthday. Heather might end up there, but I would
Nice.
like to reserve some boxes, pre-reserved
Yep.
boxes of version 2, please. But you
Yep.
also just recently added the Add-A-Wire kit.
Yep.
So I
Yep,
think I do have to give you some credit there, as I think you are listening to what the contractors want.
Of course. That's the one thing that I've kept in the same. That's the one strong thing that I've kept to myself ever since I was at Home Comfort to Nexion to now. I always pay attention to my consumers. Whether it's a bad review on Yelp, whether it's a bad review on Google when I was at Nexion or Home Comfort, I always read them because it gave me an insight of my actual company. Right. And same thing with this. I always check out the social media groups. I always check out my social media groups, my DMs, everything to make sure that if somebody's critiquing the thermostat or they're having problems with it, I can actually address it and always go back and fix it. Because I could be like most owners, right? Most contractors, they just go out there, install, and they don't pay attention to their clients. They don't pay attention to the reviews. They don't pay attention to their customer experience. And then they're wondering why they don't have any installs in shoulder season, or why they're firing people in the middle of summer, or why they're not making money. It's like, guys, you guys gotta pay attention to your consumer. You guys, whether they're right or wrong, you guys have to pay attention to your consumers.
Okay, so you and we haven't even got to start talking about the monitoring piece yet, but okay, so we got the thermostat, we got the version 2, we've got the Add-A-Wire. Tell us about the, and I want to go back to some more pieces on that in a minute, but I'm squirreling out here. Tell us about the monitoring though.
Look, the monitoring is where most contractors are going to see the biggest value for their members, right? And our most successful contractors, CP, are giving these thermostats away to their members, number one, or giving them thermostats on a TV ad, a radio ad, a social media ad, to be able to increase conversion on leads, right? Because it sounds way different when it's a $88 tune-up, complete AC tune-up, than when it's an $88 complete system tune-up with a free Wi-Fi thermostat. It sounds way different. People are going to lean towards the free Wi-Fi thermostat and start clicking on your ads and converting more leads when you guys are giving that free thermostat away. And look, at the end of the day, that software, the piece that we came up with, is to keep people away from Google. Whether people want to see it, whether contractors want to realize it or not, our industry codepends on Google 100%. If Google shuts down for a week, most of us will probably be out of business.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Where do most people go to contact us? Google and Yelp and social media, right? So the reason why we came up with a software piece of it, to be able to message the contractors, to the consumers, to be able to do alerts, to be able to start the units from your office, to be able to monitor the usage of the thermostat, right? To be able to do all that on the software piece of it was the main feature, was to un-Googleize the industry. We have a huge problem depending on Google. At Nexion, 60% of my budget, right? And we're spending $1.3 million a month at Nexion. 60 to 80% of my budget was spent on Google because we needed clients to be able to feed that huge machine. Now, if I would have came up with this thermostat 5 years ago and launched Nexion around the same time, I would have installed the thermostat on every client. Well, guess what? Now I would have had 700,000 thermostats out there, and I could be messaging them direct to the app, direct to the thermostat, without them ever touching Google. And I wouldn't have been spending that much money on marketing, which is the main feature on our thermostat. This thermostat will help you reduce marketing no matter what. This thermostat will un-Googleize your operation, hands down.
You're hitting a soft spot for me, a touchy spot for me right now with that Google shit. Right.
I can't fucking stand them.
Well, and
we pay so much money.
It's the nature of the beast, and you're right. Like, we have to have it, and it's almost like a drug, right? And I don't know the saying that I'm trying to say, but it's like when you feed. I heard someone talk about when one of the home warranty companies, they used to get contractors because they would feed them a few leads and then pay them really well. And then they would pull it, once they got them like hooked on, they would pull it back and start paying them shitty. And they were like, well, we've already gave them the cocaine, right?
Yep.
That's insane. But the truth is, with Google, when you start spending, like, our team anytime Heather, Kaylee in here, anytime we pull back on our Google spend, everyone starts panicking. And I'm like, the leads are still there, but it's like we've become accustomed to expecting that happening and that spend to be there. And the truth is again, what happens if Google shuts down? What happens if like Google changes everything and the leads don't come through anymore? And you have the opportunity to control your destiny here with this, because you've still been in all of these houses.
And look, we took the idea away from ADT, the alarm company, right? If you go to I have ADT in my house. Most people have ADT, Bell, whatever alarm company they had. If you go to your panel and you cover that ADT logo, and something went wrong with your alarm company, with your alarm system, you would go to Google automatically. But because that ADT logo is there, you click on that ADT logo and it gives you a 1-800 number to service. You're going through the panel. Same thing with us. Because Nest and Ecobee and Honeywell aren't contractors, people are always Googling, Nest, Ecobee, Honeywell. A fun fact, if you ask homeowners across the United States what the brand of their air conditioning is, the vast majority tells you that it's a Honeywell system, when we know as contractors, Honeywell doesn't do an air conditioning system. But because it's a Honeywell thermostat, they automatically identify it as their system. That's what we're trying to change with our thermostat. Giving the contractor back the power to put that logo on their thermostat in a custom app is how you guys are going to be able to retain clients, how you guys are going to be able to keep them away from Google, right? Because look, now it's go on your app, click on it. Hey, you go to support, and the phone number and the text capabilities are in your own custom app. They never have to touch Google. They never have to go on social media or Yellow. And that's the name of the game that we're changing right now.
Awesome. I love it. I mean, like I said, I was skeptical. I wasn't sure about it. I made you like, you were talking to us for a year, and I was like, I don't know. And we waited it out, but we've definitely seen the benefit. And then, so you're working on some other things that would be inside of the app. Can you tell us about any of those yet? Or
Yep. So our Atom Wire kit came out already. Our wireless sensors coming out in Q4 of this year, which is going to sense temperature and humidity. And also we're coming up with a water sensor for my plumbers. You're going to be able to put a water sensor under the sink, by the water heater, by under the drain pan, wherever you guys want to put it. And it's going to detect water. Our version 2 of our thermostat, and listen to what I'm going to say because this is super dope. Our version 2 of our thermostat is going to have a CO sensor inside that thermostat. So now we're going to monitor temperature, humidity, air quality, gas, and water now through our custom app. So what we're trying to do is when the homeowner needs anything home service related, I want them to go to that thermostat for you guys. Because CP, how you've been a contractor, right? We all start as air conditioning or plumbing or electrical, and we always add different trades to it. Right. So imagine when, 5 years down the road, CP, you guys are able to do plumbing, electrical, whatever else, remediation, whatever else, other services. And all you have to do is go to that thermostat and click on it, and everything goes back to you guys. That's what we're trying to solve here with our thermostat. So yes, we're going. One thing that we're working on the software, which you guys are going to love, especially my technicians and my sales guys. Nuve Intelligence Reporting, which is a 1-page report customized to each homeowner. And it's going to tell you investment on the AC, usage on the AC, how much they spend on maintenances, on repairs, on filters, on everything. It's going to be kind of like a Carfax report for every air conditioning, where it's going to show you your total investment. And at the bottom, it's going to have 3 different options. Hey, a 16 SEER, 18 SEER, and 20 SEER. This is how much you would have saved as a homeowner to the penny if you would have upgraded your system. Now, when the technician and the project manager are at the dinner table, they're showing them what their actual usage and investment is on that unit, on their own unit, and what it would have saved them to upgrade them to a better, a more efficient unit. So now you guys are going to be able to sell more systems through our Nuve Intelligence app.
I mean, it all makes sense. Obviously, it's just like again,
this is really interesting.
Right, Heather, and it all makes sense. It's just like another one of those things that it will be the jump in and try it and whatever. But if you're not willing to like listen to what he's saying of what it's going to do for you and teach that out to your team, it's just going to be another thermostat you stick on the wall and do nothing with. Like using the monitoring system or software, paying attention to that, And you know what we have is it's like our dispatcher she has the monitoring system up. And she's checking to make sure once we install one that it's correct, but she's monitoring it. She's getting, if there's issues that we're seeing, like she's paying attention to that. And so it's not, because at first I was like, I asked and said, hey, do we have the service managers paying attention to the dashboard of that? And she said, no, we have the dispatch, because obviously they're going to get us on the board if, get it on the board. And so, but again, it's like, you have to be willing to hear and do and try,
Can I say one more thing before we jump onto something else? We just landed a full integration with ServiceTitan. We're going to announce it at Pantheon, right? We're going to announce it at Pantheon, full integration. Now they're going to be able to schedule and dispatch a technician from the thermostat and their app without ever touching a CSR or dispatcher. Meaning, they're going to go to their thermostat and say, the thermostat's going to say, emergency service, boom, click here, and they'll show them today, 1 p.m. available. They click on 1 p.m. confirming, and that call goes all the way to your dispatch, or it assigns it to the technician nearby, or that's open based on, your dispatch capabilities, right? And now the technician's going to get dispatched without ever talking to a CSR. Same thing with the app. We're going to announce it at Pantheon when the consumer calls in. We're working with ServiceTitan, where the call bubble for ServiceTitan is going to have a little Nuve logo. They click on it if they have a Nuve thermostat, and they're going to be able to see the monitoring side of the thermostat before you even send a technician on it, which is probably going to be the dopest part, because as contractors, CP, how many times have we sent a technician when a customer calls in and says, hey, my AC is not working? What's the first thing we do? Send a technician to the door, instead of like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, let me go ahead and check your settings on your thermostat. Let me see when was the last time you used it. Let me see how long it's been running for before we send a technician. And I'm going to monitor your system offsite before we send a technician. Now you're going to save on truck rolls, because look, how many times have we sent a technician to come to find out that the schedule was on the wrong setting, or the temperature was wrong, or it's an elderly client and they forgot how to use it. Now we're going to eliminate those truck rolls. Your dispatcher, your team is going to be able to change the settings on the thermostat from your office. Your office for those elderly clients. They're going to be able to let it run for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour before you send a technician, and see if they hit the set point. You're going to save a ton on truck rolls for sure.
Yeah, I love that. It's like definitely the future, and definitely what our industry needed. But you have to have an open mind, and you have to be willing to, it's one of those things that, again, if you can hear everything that we're saying, everything that Isha's saying, and then it turns into nothing when it gets into your business if you don't put out the effort to train it out to your team and train it out to your inside team so they can fully understand what's possible.
I agree.
100%. Yeah.
100%. So I'm excited for that for you, for sure. And what else is out there before we close up here? What else is
Nothing. Hope to see you guys at Freedom. Hope to see you guys at Pantheon. Those are like the two main events we're throwing out. I'm going to do a little tour around the United States where we're bringing in operators and keeping it super intimate. Where it's up to 100 contractors. I'm going to bring in state by state, and we're just going to teach them how to operate their business better. We're going to bring in the real operators, not these fucking gurus online that claim to know how they operate the businesses. They know who I'm talking about. We're going to bring actual operators like Aaron Gaynor and Chris Hoffman and Chad Peterman and Travis and Tom Howe, all these guys that are still doing the everyday stuff to grinding it out. And instead of these gurus that are trying to sell you a course for, $99 a month kind of bullshit, right?
Right. Hey, we know what you're talking about there, brother.
Don't make me throw names, because I'll throw those names out.
I know. You know me. I'm the same way. There's a reason why I'm blacklisted on some sites, and some there's a reason why I've been blocked on a few others too, right? Like, it's at the end of the day, I know that you feel the same way. We just want to be protective of the people that don't know better. And and when I see, people come in and say, what do you think about signing with this or whatever? And I'm like, absolutely not. We've seen the destruction that's happened. We've seen the marriages that were lost, the mental health that's affected some of these guys that have just jumped in and didn't know enough, and so gave their business over to thieves, you know, and
these idiots, they say how it is. These idiots, they're giving the business to these idiots because they're desperate. And that's dude, that is the one thing that pisses me the fuck off the most, honestly. Like the one thing that I cannot stand, and I don't care who hates me because of how I speak and how I treat these guys, they deserve everything that's coming for them. Because guess what? Most of these guys that are giving their businesses out to these fucking crooks, they're desperate. They need help. And instead of helping them, they're taking from them. Like, bro, I promise you. And this and everybody on social media could call me out on my bullshit if I'm lying. I have been offered by thousands and thousands and thousands of contractors. Ismael, I will give you 20% of my business. I'll give you 50% of my business if you help me. I have never, ever taken anything from our contractors. Not one time. I will never do it. Instead, I will turn around and be like, look, why do you want to give me your business? What is it that you need? Oh, because I'm struggling. I don't know how to do it. Okay, cool. Let me help you instead. You don't need to give me anything. God's giving me everything that I need already. And that's the one thing that pisses me off about these gurus, that they're like, oh yeah, just sign this, 30-page document that they don't know what they're signing to. And then come to find out, they took their bank accounts, they took their cash flow, they took all their operational power, right? And they still haven't done anything with it. They've never had a successful exit. They've never, ever sold a fucking company by themselves. They worked for somebody that sold a company, which is way different. If you look, I'm going to tell you one thing. It is way different for me, Ishmael, to sit here and tell you I sold 2 businesses. I've done it before. Than to one of my employees say, "Hey, oh yeah, I used to work for Next Gen and they sold the business." There's a whole different.
You sold, 100%. Preach on,
bro. All the headaches that we go through on the back. All the bullshit that we have to deal with on the back, all the, the stress that we have to go to get payroll, to pay our vendors, to do everything that we have to do to get these businesses up and running. The employees never get to see that, so they don't take credit for it. And that's the one thing that pisses me off. Most of these gurus were employees, and now they're trying to help you with your business. Bro, you don't know nothing about running a business. Please.
Right. For sure.
Oh, Ishmael, I could not agree with you more. I see it, and it just makes me sick. Like I've helped. I mean, Ishmael, you know this. I've helped so many contractors just for free because it's the right thing to do, and it's what our industry needs. And I to see people out there taking money from good people who just don't know what they don't know. That is, I think, the lowest form of scumbag.
You bet. I agree with you.
I can't do it.
Bro, we're all in the same team. CP, I know it took you a while to realize this for me. We are all in the same fucking team. You're not, I'm not here to take from nobody. You're not here to take from nobody. We're here to help each other out. We're in the home service team. We're in the home service team. Guess what? Our competitor is Google. Our competitor is these big tech companies trying to take from us. That's our competitor. We should all be helping each other. And if that means taking a phone call from somebody in fucking Texas or in Michigan that you've never met, but they need help with their business, then guess what? That's what we have to do until we all win. Because again, at the end of the day, if we keep ignoring the fact that most of these contractors are ignorant, they're always going to price themselves so low where they're making pennies, and we're always fighting for that. We're never going to solve the biggest problem in the industry, which is ignorance, number 1, and recruitment, number 2.
Yep. It's you're right. I hate to tell you, you are. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it's been, like I said, I think we could talk shop for the rest of the day. And there's so much that we have the same passions for, you, Heather, and I. Like, we've watched it over the last 5 years. We've seen the shit that's happened. And we are, I know we have the same mission of just making sure that we continue to help every contractor that we can, because we are all on the same team. There is enough work for all of us, and we don't have to be at each other's throats all the time. So, but and again, thank you for being on the show. If anyone's interested, we're going to make sure to include all of the information to get in touch with someone from Nuve and to learn more about it. If you'd like to talk to our team and we can tell you our experience, we'd be happy to tell you about it, and just show you. I'll show you what our side of it. Forget his demo. I'll show you what works.
Thank you, CP. And look, to close off your podcast, I want to make sure that people know that there is every contractor that I've met in my life that has been a successful contractor that helped me sell these huge enterprise businesses like Leland, like Ken Goodrich, like Ken Haynes and Dave Geiger and all these badass operators in our industry, every single one of them, when I took the time to go to their shop or call them or DM them on Facebook or DM, they all took the time to listen and to help me out. You do not need to give your business to nobody. You do not need to give equity to nobody. You do not need to go out there and pay a subscription for all these bullshit ass fucking people that have never done anything with their careers in the home service. You do not need to do that. I promise you, if you pick up the phone, if you take the time to reach out to myself, to anybody in our industry, we are such kind-hearted people in the home services industry that we will take the time to help you with whatever we can.
Absolutely. The help is out there. You just got to humble yourself and ask the right people, but don't ask the ones that are dangling silver bullets or
don't ask the wrong people.
Don't ask the ones that are handing carrots. So, well, thank you for being on the show. We appreciate you, and we'll catch up soon.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review at Apple. And make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.